Hey everybody, we're Beth and Angel. Um, we're Beth and Angel make games, believe it or not. What do you think? It's been another week. I like it's funny because I prepared for literally everything else. I have like 40 links for later, but for this intro stuff, I have no idea. I guess I'll start by saying that I was spiraling most of the week. In fact, I still kind of am, just on the edge of it now, which already happened once. And then I went right back into it all. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. Started spiraling on like the 13th, so it's been almost like half of the month at this point. It's like ridiculous. But how have you been, Angel?
Just been busy and trying to catch up with things, and I think that that's the general feel of like this whole year has been. Oh my goodness, there's too much stuff to do. So
Yeah,
hopefully that becomes less, but getting by.
yeah. It would be really nice if we could stop having all the like obligations from the past like 5 months on us. Like, sorry about that. Um,
Yes.
for those not familiar, we ran a big crowdfunder in February. We were supposed to have it done in February and March while the campaign was running, and then we underestimated, or I underestimated, because I'm going to put it together, how much effort making like 17 zines would take. So we're still not done yet, even though it's
Yeah,
almost.
and I've been stuck on this last one because it's a lot bigger, and I should have just made something smaller and been like, hey, they'll be happy with it. But then,
Yeah, you want to be happy too. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Then I wanted this one to be really cool. So hopefully
Yeah.
it will.
Speaking of making a bunch of zines, this is also Mini Zine July. So we've been making a bunch of zines for Mini Zine July too.
And well, these are like a lot smaller though, and like
Yeah,
most of them aren't games. So like,
that's fair too.
there's something I can do while I'm like watching television at night and kind of winding down, or like in between other things. So it's not taking a whole lot more focus.
Mhm.
So there's just kind of casual things, and then there's like work. So
Yeah, very fair.
trying to get something to be a whole cohesive, huge undertaking, is a little bit different than,
Mhm.
hey, write this little fluffy thing about this fanzine topic or something like that. So
Yeah.
those have actually been a nice break.
Yeah, they're really nice because it's like really quick to make them too, like most themes. Speaking of which, this is the first thing we'll talk about here was one of Angel's zines. This was for the before and after, I think.
Yes.
Okay. You want to tell people about Thanks Past Me?
Sure. I was actually really stuck on this prompt for before and after. I had a few different ideas. I don't think I have those written down anymore. But I had several ideas on those, and none of them were kind of jumping out at me as a whole cohesive, finished thing. So finally, I came up with the idea that a lot of times I will say thanks past me when I've, set myself up for an easier day because I did something that I didn't want to do and I did it like before. So I didn't have to do it now. One of those things is we count calories and we try to watch what we eat, and just making simpler meals so that they're not elaborate, or doing the prep for it at the beginning of the week, because I never
Mhm.
really want to spend a lot of time cutting vegetables. And so the first time of the week that I do cut those vegetables, then I just do all of them, and then present me kind of deals with the bummerness of having to
Mhm.
cut an hour and a half worth of vegetables, chopping and preparing. But then the whole rest of the week it's a lot easier for me to cook. So it's just kind of the concept of that if you can get something over with, and if you're going to find that a bummer now and later, just do it now, so it's not
Mhm.
looming over you all week, and doing it all at once, because then I don't have to clean the cutting board again and the knife again and the area that I cut with, and like sweep up the floor and all that every single time I'm preparing vegetables. I did it once, so then everything is ready, everything's much nicer, and I can say thanks past me instead of gee, thanks past me,
Yeah.
instead. So I'd much rather have, that pleasant experience of, oh, cool, my life's a lot easier because I set myself up. So that's basically the gist of the zine. The zine was probably shorter than my description of it, but
that's how most of my Patreon posts are too. It's like, hey, let me dive into why I wrote this, and it's like 35 pages long versus like the 8-page thing there. All of these, by the way, have at the top here. This is the electric zine maker version of it, which is actually playable right in your browser. So all of these here have one you can just click onto the page and then just read through it. We also have you can download it for free. You can just take me to the downloads, and it'll give you the like a digital book version of it, basically like a PDF with the 8 pages on it. Or if you pay at least $1 here, you will also get the printable zine, so you can fold it up and actually print it out, have it. Or for $3, we'll actually mail it within the U.S. With one exception here, I'll get to later. For my version of that, and this is the one I left, I did not click on this, so you could see it starts with this run whatever. Like this is a per zine, so it says that personal zine basically. But this costume of mine, I made it for this, but also made it for the Queer Halloween Stories bundle here. And basically, this is I originally intended to just do transphobia because it's the Queer Halloween Stories, and you know it's supposed to be about Halloween, so I used the word costume. But honestly, especially with the spiraling I've been doing the last like 12 days now, it went really more into bipolar. I feel like that's much more of a thing I struggle with than any dysphoria. I'm very lucky. I don't really like. I shave my arms and my face, and that's basically it. I don't really care. I'll skip that for a week or two, whatever. I really don't care. Like it doesn't bother me any. Like get misgendered, whatever. I really couldn't care less. If somebody misgenders somebody else, I'll get upset and say something. But like for the most part, I don't really care. But basically, this kind of goes through just like my transphobia, but also like my bipolar, which ended up, like I said, being more of a focus of this. Just kind of diving into what that is for me, what it means, which I won't go into now because I could talk about it for like 3 hours, like whatever. But basically, that's it. It covers. Also, I touched on the fact in this. I will say that at least that we're very positive, uplifting creators, and we like to share what other people make, and we like to uplift other people. When I'm depressed, I usually get really apathetic, which means I just don't care about anything. And part of that, I always feel bad because like people will share cool stuff, and I'll just be like, yeah, that's great. Like I'll check it out later when I have the energy to do so. But like, in the moment, I don't feel any of that, and so like I feel bad. I feel like I'm lying. I feel like people will pick up on that and be like, oh, well, this other part of you that you are like 90% of the time is a lie because of the 10% of you here. And like, so that just kind of terrifies me. And so I'm like, I'm going to put that in a little zine and I'm going to share it, and then we'll expose the secret to the light.
Yeah. And I just think that some people get that, like that you don't have the energy for something. It doesn't mean that you're not, that you're disingenuine every other time. It's just,
yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Cause like, it does feel like the kind of thing, stop it, that a lot of people do where they, will be all like, hey, like I'm really positive and uplifting, and then like you see behind the scenes a little bit, like they get mad while they're playing a video game on stream or something, and they just turn into like the worst human being that ever existed.
Aw.
Yeah, like those, the heated gamer moments,
Yeah,
all that, and
well, even there was some rumors about one of the members of Queer Eye and how they act behind the scenes, and so yeah, I can see, that is a thing.
hey, Julie.
Hello.
Next would be Angels. You can quote me on that, which we just released like
5 minutes ago. No.
yeah, like yesterday. I think I sent the keys for those like yesterday, the day before, to our what you'll see on most of our pages, especially when they're new. That if you become a member of our Patreon, you'll get them for free.
I have been proud.
You're paying for that, but
I have been proud that I have been keeping up with the deadlines of every 5 days doing those. I just haven't gotten them posted in time on some of them. So
well, you wait for me too, like, so that's part of it. Like, we put them both at the same time out, and like you're just waiting on me to get mine. So
yeah,
it's understandable.
You can quote me on that. Was the prompt for fanzine. And I know that seems kind of weird, but I'm really a fan of the written word and of different quotes. I find them very inspirational. I like to keep them around. I used to have a big corkboard on my wall in my room, and I really enjoyed scrapbooking, so I printed out a whole lot of quotes, and then I kind of scrapbooked them into little snippets and put them on the board. When I needed inspiration or just uplifting, I'd go and I would read my quote wall and remember the things that were said there. And so this scene is kind of a little bit of a tribute to that, and that I'm a fan of the written word. So there's different quotes from like Pride and Prejudice, different movies that I like Empire Records, different stuff like that. There is music quotes, and also quotes from Shel Silverstein, who was a really big inspiration for why I wrote poetry. My second grade teacher read Where the Sidewalk Ends to us in class, and I just was a really big fan of his. And from then, I really enjoyed writing poetry and that type of thing, putting a little bit of humor and personalization into it, and my own spin of uplifting this, because he seems to have a big firm grasp on that, like really touching hearts, but keeping it humorous. This is the first scene that I made a poster of on the other side. When you do the 8-page zine, it's usually one-sided, and I put like something that looks like the cork board.
Yeah, I got it on screen here.
Yeah, there you go. Like, and it has different quotes on it.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like basically with an 8-page zine, you have to you fold it into 8. So like, the pages look like this. You'll fold it like, what is it, hot dog first and then hamburger, or the other way around. Basically what they mean by that is like the long way and the short way, like, because the one makes it into like a long wide thing, a hot dog, and then one of them makes it into like a square.
Yeah, I usually do it long ways first, and then short ways, and then short ways. So then when you unfold it, you have to cut it in the center. If you fold it like short way, and then long way, you're going to have to fold it short way again and then cut it. So that's the reason that I fold it that way, is because if you have it folded short ways, you cut that center part, and then you're not refolding.
Yeah, this is what they look like when they're. Angel gave this to me like for my birthday, I think. Really dusty, sorry. And so this is kind of what it looks like when it's an actually put together zine. Like you get the little, like you actually flip through the pages and like, sorry, the duster, geez. And
I think that was the last time you were spiraling, actually.
I think I've spiraled a few times in between. There's been
well, yeah, it was a spiral that I gave it to you, though.
Yeah, that's fair. I do think that's the case. That's why I keep it over here too. So yeah, basically, but there's that, and then when you print it on the back of it, basically when you unfold it, that'd be, what you'd be looking at is you'd have that poster too, or you could just, like print them out as 2 separate pieces of paper, and then you have the poster and
the zine. Yeah.
My next one, and this is the exception to our normal mailing rule. I'm charging $5 to ship this one instead of $3. But it's because you get 5 copies of zines technically, so there's like 5 pieces of paper, so it's going to weigh a little more in the mail and stuff. This is called We're Here For You. It's my fanzine. I based it on the movie If, which we watched like a week ago, the one with John Krasinski and Steve.
Yeah, a couple weeks now.
Yeah.
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell. I cannot believe I forgot Steve Carell's name.
Ryan Reynolds. And
Ryan Reynolds too. Yeah, I forgot he was in that even. That's awesome.
He was like the main person in it.
Yeah. But I was like, I don't remember if I thought of If first or if I thought of just doing this first. But either way, they kind of came together at the same time. This is basically a spiritual sequel to Everyday and Sharon here, which is like one of the first things I released, and it's like one of my most popular ones. Probably because I've thrown it in like every single bundle ever. But it's basically you become enchanted by support summoner. Basically, kind of like in RPGs and stuff, you have different roles and classes for people. This is somebody who like summons things to like support their friends and themselves, and so you can summon any kind of creature you want that can help you out, and it guides you through how to do that. This is the instructional zine, and then because Electric Zine Maker doesn't let you do a 4-page zine, I just threw both of the zines together into this. The second zine here, which starts here, the other one ends here. This is the blank support critter zine. where basically you draw the critter and you write its name and pronouns here. And you can do this on a piece of paper too. So if you happen to be watching this, you can literally just like you can ignore buying it, or whatever, because you can just download it or read it here anyway, and just like make it with a blank piece of paper. The 4-page zines are actually only like they're like this size here, and basically what you do is you just fold it down and then you fold it over. Like it's just 2 folds, no cutting. You can totally use a blank piece of paper for all this. You just kind of draw it. You write its name and pronouns. You write what its purpose is. So like if it's supposed to help you out when you're feeling stressed or make you feel more confident or whatever, you list some of its positive traits. So maybe it's funny or it's very friendly or whatever, and then some negative traits. Maybe it's very clumsy. Maybe it's really bad with words or can't even speak. Like Pokemon-esque where it can only say its own name or something. And then I couldn't resist throwing trans colors over here, but what is something it says often? And what else would you like to share about it? I really had no idea what to do with this amount of space here, so I just did that. What does it say most often? So like, does it have like a tagline or a slogan? Or I think I wrote in the instructional one that it might even just say sorry a lot if it's clumsy, or like some parents kind of like just going to bash the idea of their kids being apologetic over everything all the time. So like maybe your support critter apologizes all the time too, and so you see in it what it's like when somebody feels apologetic all the time. And then basically on the back here, you write down moments when it makes you happy or when you make it happy. So like kind of building a friendship with it. And then you keep this booklet here, or you can like, if like maybe your friend's going through a rough time, you can make one of these for them and then give it to them. And then like you just kind of imagine. There's a psychological term for it, and I forget what it is, but basically when you reinforce something like this enough times, you just start to like take it on. So you don't need it anymore because you've brought that into yourself. Like you've gained that confidence. You don't need something else to give it to you. So that's the goal there. There are 3 other things we made. One of them we're going to go way more into depth about. Hey, Barb. The next one is a game we did called Charged Up, which actually Barb here, who just joined in our stream, was part of making it, and so was Panic, who is not here. I'm assuming because I forgot what convention's going on right now. There's a big old convention going on at the moment, and
I think it's Comic-Con.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. I think it is Comic-Con. So that's going on right now, and Charged Up was what we made for Hyper 1 Hour Game Jam. In fact, we have a link here. We really like the Hyper 1 Hour jams. We aren't doing them at the same time anymore, so we're not officially doing it. But the theme was battery. And so I knew I wanted to make a postcard again. So that's why these are the 2 cards here. This is actually the whole game, these 2 cards. The only reason you're going to buy it, in fact, they even have that. Why buy it when the image is over there? It's just because you have a nice little PDF that has 4 of them on it. So like if you get those printable like perforated versions, like sheets at like Amazon or Walmart or whatever, like you can just print this onto that, break it open. Like you have 4 postcards you can give to friends or whatever. If you did want to mail this, you'd have to mail them separately because like I didn't give space to address it. But basically the premise is, and actually Angel, Panic, and Barb helped with this one as far as the idea goes, where you have these 4 different categories for your day, and you can interpret those however you want. So house might be home, like housework. It might be homework, even, like if you're in school, like technically a home and work, homework. Body here could be anything about yourself. It could be just treating yourself, like there's some fun stuff or, whatever. And so basically you roll 4 dice, you put one of them in each of these 4 spots, and then you list that many tasks you want to do today in those categories. So like let's say you rolled a 6, a 2, a 1, and a 5, right? And you just really don't want to do anything to do at the house. So you put a 1 up there, and you can list, like it's encouraged even to include fun things for each category as well. Nobody's saying you have to do up to 24, actual to-do list items here. So,
Hi, Chris.
Oh, Chris, hey. So like your one house thing might even just be like to sit on your couch and watch TV because that's, related to the house. Sure, why not, right? Like for me, I'd almost always throw the bigger numbers here because I like to do creative stuff. So that might be like making a game or a zine or whatever, or like sharing it somewhere or whatever else. I was actually just talking in our Discord server earlier about how much I hate promoting things. So, like, this is the closest we get related to promoting a thing. And then this back here is just an example of it. It's completely unnecessary to play the game, but it just kind of takes you through how to actually play it in case that is a little confusing. When I say that Angel did it too, and this has the image before I added my name to it. My name's actually down there. And then it, like, in the image thing, it's actually like got the, like, get more stuff here because I forgot to do that. That's the fun thing about 1 hour jam is that it's really easy to forget things when you're making it in an hour. I think we did this in 81 minutes, technically. Yeah, 81 minutes. I wrote it down there. But Angel did most of the art layout on this. I chose the 4 thingies here, and I made, like the squares here. But she chose the font. She got this little battery thingy here, which I angled it, which, like, at least I did that. I found the dice too. But she actually came up with this image, and then this cool, what's it called, a frame on Canva, where it actually put it in it. And then she actually moved it to the side, so a lot of this image is cut off, and it just looks like it's, this, like, sparking thing on the corner on that side there. This is also a gradient fill in the back. You can barely tell because I moved it over a lot, but it kind of, like, makes the color, you can see, very, like, lighter colored over here, and then it gets darker across, kind of bleeds into the battery over there. And
well, because you were writing the game, I just was fiddling with the extras when you did that.
Appreciate it, because, like, that's my thing. Like, a lot of times when I make something, especially zines and stuff too, like, it's basically like white background, maybe 1 or 2 little, like, slapped pieces of art on it, and then, like, maybe a cool font, and, like, that's basically the extent, especially in an hour. Like, if I'm doing something for an hour jam, it's probably going to be mostly plain white background, nothing fancy at all. Like, here you go. Maybe you'll spend another hour after the jam actually making it look nicer, but more than likely won't. And so it's really nice to have this actually look cool too. And in fact, I'm going to pull that up here. If you're familiar with Itch and All, if you go to Edit Game and then you just go here to the a file, you can just click download on it. So if I open that up, this is what the PDF actually looks like. You get, like, 4 cards on one sheet, and then you get 3 cards and 1 example play on the other. You only need 1 per person. You don't write on these or anything, so they're reusable infinitely. You just put the dice on it and then ready to do lists. Was there anything you wanted to share about Charged Up?
No, actually, I thought you covered it.
Well, thank you. Okay, and then the last thing, I
do have fun actually doing it in the Discord forum, though. Like, everybody kind of talking along. I really like that.
I think it's really fun too. For those not familiar, we do that every Friday. I'll throw a link here, but I also have banner, but, like, the banner isn't copy pastable. There's that. But that's the link to our server. It's the same link too. That's funny. I got the other one more recently. But every Friday we'll get in the voice chat there, and we'll, like, share whatever the theme is for that jam, and then also kind of talk out, like, as we're doing it. I shared the screen this time. I'll do that in the future too. Where, like,
Chris asks, do you only have an hour to finish the whole thing and get it up on Itch? Yes, you can actually go into Itch and do, like, a framework of your post and then actually submit it to the jam. If you do it at the same time that Lisa's streaming, Lisa does play through all of the submissions afterwards. Usually people will say, hey, play mine first, or that kind of thing. So you can kind of buy yourself a little bit more time while Lisa's playing the games to finish some things up. But yeah, for the most part, even if you just, throw it on a doc and upload that, and then fancy it up later, that's fine. Just getting the game done. It just teaches you to not be a perfectionist on the little small stuff, like right now, and then you can update it later. But yeah, it's an hour-long thing, and it just kind of gets you to, they give you a prompt, and you just take off from there. But it just kind of gets you to focus on real specific, I'm making this game. It has to be bare bones. but it just helps be creative. Like, especially when you're just kind of blocked on doing things, it just kind of gets you to get out of your head on that and just make something.
Yeah, the only rule that Lee's has um, is that it has to be playable in the browser, so without downloads. So, like for us TTRPG creators, that just basically means if you put your stuff into images, like if you have image files for the pages, then you can just open those up and we'll play it through those. Most of
And
the people though do video games, so they're playable in the browser.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is that she's a video game developer, so a lot of those are that. But we like to bring tabletop to as much as we can too, and she's cool with it. Anything she's played through, she's been really uplifting and sweet about. So it's been really a nice experience.
Very positive centric. And if you do one for like an older jam too, like if you were to do the most recent one right now, you could just in the next jam in the like community tab on the It's Jam, just say, hey, I made this for the last jam, like this was what it is, describe it or whatever if you want to, and she'll usually play those two, like at the beginning of. She actually does 2 separate streams now, but they're back to back. The one is her actually doing the jam, and then the other one is like actually playing other people's stuff.
Okay.
And, yeah, I'm assuming you can sit in the same screen and it'll just take you there, but I'm not sure how that works. I haven't done it yet. Because we do it like her stream runs from like I think 6 to 7:15 or 7:30, and then we usually don't do ours until 8 because that's usually when we eat dinner. It's like about 6 o'clock.
So we just don't look at the topic until then, and then.
Exactly. The last thing that we made this week, besides the templates, we'll get to here in a little bit, go way more detail about. I made something I called the Winchester Exorcism. It's a take on the Winchester document. It's basically like if you look at these two, this is the Winchester document, which you have like an image here and then the title and like a little text and then like something on like paper. So you notice this is basically the exact same thing. It's called a hack, is what this is. It's basically you use the same system as something, you give it the same kind of vibe, which you don't have to in a hack, and then you just make it your own. So like this uses the same system where you're writing something and you have a certain amount of time, and if you stop writing before that timer is up, you quote unquote die. Like you don't actually die, like in the game you die, you lose basically. The original one, you had a curse put on you by sleeping in this haunted house, and every time you wrote anything at all, the curse would trigger. The first time it happened, you would have to write for 5 minutes, and then the next time you'd have like 7 minutes, and then 9 minutes, and so on, until eventually, I'm sorry, you had 3 minutes, so 5, 8, 11, 14 minutes. Eventually, that'll become such a high number you can't possibly keep up, and Sarah Winchester will get you. It's based on the Winchester house, which was basically she was cursed to that she would die if she ever stopped building onto her house. And supposedly the legends go that like she did eventually stop after the mansion was like gigantic, and she did die. So, in theory, like I'm sure most of that is a tall tale, but so I did the Winchester document, and this is the Winchester Exorcism, which is another thing that I made based on my bipolar, where you have these demons inside of you that are constantly belittling you and insulting you and telling you you're not good enough, and basically all the stuff we deal with in our heads. And so like you have to dive into where the demons live and return pure or not at all. And then of course if you do survive the 10 minutes of writing, like maybe you'll taste them off for a while, but they'll come back because our darker side always comes back to us. So like it's not a permanent thing, but it kind of ends with like hey, like now that you've gotten rid of yours, maybe you can help other people through theirs too. Like it, we can help each other out. And then I actually wrote a whole page of designer's notes too, because I just really felt like going into that. In fact, I did that with the last zine too. I actually made a designer's notes edition of it that has like the zine on one side and then the designer's notes on the other side, and I kind of talked about what's on each page. This was originally, though, like I said, the Winchester document, and I just kind of changed the page to the Winchester collection because I really didn't know what to do with it. Like I don't want to make a whole page just for this new thing when like
it was so close to the other
thing.
One.
Yeah. So I was like, well, they're both the Winchester or something. I'll just call it the Winchester collection. And now there's both things listed here. Anyone who owned a document already owns this now too because it's it's been added to it. But Yeah, that's that. Also, by the way, all of these things still have a bunch of community copies on them. Anyone who's a enlightened egret of our server, that's our like top tier for our Patreon, contributes 5 community copies, which are free copies that anybody can get to each of our releases that are paid or have paid versions. Like our zines are technically free, but there are paid versions, so you'd still get like 35 currently uh, community copies on those. So if you are part of our Patreon, even for free, or in our server, you'll see like when we release new stuff, and you can just jump on everything and grab it for free because those community copies are there for a while. Unless it's really popular, there's sometimes where we'll put something out and the community copies are gone within like an hour. Like by the time I'm done writing the like Patreon posts, it's like, oh, they're gone. Like I can't mention anything about them. Or like if we share on Reddit, I swear, anytime I share
Oh
on
yeah,
Reddit, everything is just gone immediately. Especially when it's free. Like anything, if you tell anybody there's free stuff, like people just grab it up. So,
we can call them the Reddit locusts.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, that was everything we did. We normally also have a segment here. We talk about the things we've discovered throughout the week, but I think we were both so busy that neither one of us have anything.
I have a couple links. Like
Oh, okay, cool.
they're really small from Instagram. If you want to click on them, I can explain them.
Go for it. Yeah. Oh yeah, I see you have the angel discovered here. Okay.
I have been like going through Instagram, like doom scrolling and stuff, and like lately because I've been paying attention to stuff, like certain things, I've been getting like a lot of scrapbooking things and like origami type things. And I just thought this was super cool. They make the book out of like clay, and then they cut out a little paper, and this looks like a little like tiny fairy like sketchbook, and it's the most adorable thing. So I had to share that. I don't know if the video came up or not.
Oh yeah, it's weird. It didn't on the screen there. At least not on mine. Refreshing and see if that helps.
But it was just this really adorable little tiny scrapbook, like sketchbook that they made.
Oh, every time I go off the page, it doesn't show it anymore. So I'll
Oh,
just stay on
okay.
the page. But yeah, it is. It's really cute. Like it's just a little like basically they're making these little tiny leaves and then they get like sewn together as like covers. Yeah, it's really neat looking.
And then they draw in it. Yeah, really adorable. Like, but I've been seeing a lot of, their creations with different things like that. And then the other thing was just a zine joke that I wanted to share.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm pulling it up. I didn't look at the joke yet. I looked at the main part.
Yeah, why did the zine go to therapy? Because it couldn't stop folding under pressure.
Oh my goodness. Oh no. What I'm pumped. That's awesome. Yeah, Angel's like getting into the Instagram zine scene pretty well here. I had an Instagram account forever ago and I never used it, and then I forgot I had it, and I was logged in under my old work account for like years ever since I worked there. And Angel's like, I was like, I should make an account. And Angel's like, you have one, so I found it. Like,
Yes.
I haven't actually posted anything there yet. What I thought was funny was that when I logged into it, I had a message from my like aunt from like 3 years ago.
Oh, that's funny.
Then I replied back, and she actually replied back to that already too.
But yeah, that's the only things I had for discovered. There are a couple of games I downloaded that I want to mess with this week when I have time, so that I can talk about them next week because they seem cool. I did want to bring up we have creations from friends. I guess we could talk about.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, basically, sort of. There is a one-page RPG jam, which I'm hoping to get something into because I'm excited about that one. Like so many people are just really jazzed about this jam every time it comes up this time of year. So it's something that we want to be a part of and actually, look through some of the entries and stuff. A couple of the people from our Discord have entered several things in there. Barb and Aaron have, so definitely want to check those out. There's one that I don't speak French.
Yeah, and furries and a toast over here too.
Yes.
If you were to come on here and you search for, like, you can type in this thing here. If you type in Barb's is mad if I could type Magicia, which I'm probably mispronouncing. But yeah, there's already 4 games here. I noticed.
You've been busy.
I thought it was funny. I saw this chat. The race is about to start. As I pulled up itch to start on making our Canva templates page, and it was actually before he like actually posted it to the Discord server. So I was like waiting for it to happen, and then I flipped over there and I saw that it did happen. So I was like, okay, wow. Barb had actually pointed out that he was going to take a break from entering things into the one-page jam because like Barb doing so busy, and then made another one anyway.
Oh, wow.
And then the other one is Aaron is the librarian. So there's 2 of those here, which I wouldn't be surprised if he makes more. Also, we are really big fans of one-page games for sure. This is actually where we kind of got our starts for the most part. Like I technically started with like the business card game jam, the Tiny Library. But these were the first RPGs I ever made, or the one-page ones. Because like before that, to me, RPG was like Dungeons and Dragons or like things like that. Even if they were smaller, there were still these giant books you had to learn and like play with big groups.
Yeah,
and,
this makes it a lot more accessible.
Yeah, and like it's just wild that like an RPG can be pretty much anything. Like even something like a journaling game, or we were talking in Julie's server a little bit about like letter writing stuff. So we've made a letter writing game, or Chris made one where you actually build a shrine, or something. And so they don't even necessarily require like any of the things in TTRPG being a tabletop role playing game. It can just be whatever you want it to be, and like as long as you're kind of playing a role or like acting something out in some way, like it's still a TTRPG. So I think it's really cool. We're looking forward to doing that. And then I saw you added to thank you because I forgot about it. About Julie here. In fact, let me, if I can get a link here, share Julie's Patreon.
I have
here.
the link on there too.
Yeah, I did. I saw that, but
Okay.
actually, I'll just share that then. Yeah, you're right. That's cool. About Julie had played, I think today actually, released this post. Yeah, 4 hours ago, playing Chris's Wither and Grow.
Yeah, I love that post. And there's a recording that you can listen to of what was journaled, and this was just really great. The post is free on our Patreon, and then the other ones, when she does more reviews, will be for one of her tiers. So go check that out. I really recommend it.
Yeah, and Julie's tiers are really like affordable. Like I feel bad that we're like when we started our Patreon, what I wanted to do was a much cheaper set of tiers. Like I was thinking like $2, maybe $5 or something like tops or whatever. And like because there were 3 of us making games, it was like, okay, well it makes sense for it to be higher because you're getting like at least 4 things a month from 3 different people. Like that's fair. Okay. And especially back then we actually had, it was like a subscription thing, more like a Netflix than anything, where like you basically were able to get all of our games like the moment you signed up. So you could technically sign up, get everything, quit, have like 80 of our games, like out of that $5, whatever. And it's changed over time, but we've still stuck to the $3, $5, $10 tier thing, which I think we give people enough value for what we have. Like I feel confident enough about that.
Yeah, now that we've done the mailing as well, like we do a few zines each month to the egrets, so I'm happier with that tier.
Yeah, and Julie here actually will mail things. Where you can see in the corner there, we are $2 a month patron, Julie, and $2 a month actually gets you a postcard. At least here in the U.S. I'm sure that goes up. Hey, Anna Maria. I'm sure that goes up outside of the U.S. if it's even possible to sign up. But like $2 for a postcard is a really awesome deal. So, like, and we actually got one a week or 2 ago. I keep forgetting to show it here. We haven't played it yet, but it's really cool. It's actually like a card game rules, like on the postcards. You just like for $2, you get to support somebody cool and you get a game out of it. It's like
very neat.
Postcards. Yeah.
Also, wanted to bring up, we've been getting a whole lot of entries for the bundle jam for the zine week. We've got like 43 submissions on there now. I know we've got quite a few from our July zines, but yeah, you've already got the link up there. You go.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, we actually have 8 of the 43 in there right now.
But yeah, that's just really cool to see everybody submitting different kinds of zines, and there's TTRPGs in there, or just per zines, and just artistic ones where people just draw things. So very good mix.
Yeah,
I'm excited to start looking through them.
Angel's been like kind of peeking at things like to make sure that they're actually zines, because there have been a couple entries that weren't actually zines. But for the most part, we haven't actually like read anything yet. So like we will be going through those before we actually. But the premise of this is that we did a free RPG day, like last month at some point, and I was like when I was sharing it around, I was like, why isn't there a free like zine day? And so then it became, why isn't there like a free zine week? Because why share something for just like a day, like, or even just a weekend, when you can kind of point people to something for a week? And then I was like, well, why don't we do 10 days? Because like, if I like our main promotional source is itch emails. Like if you go into a game here, let's just go to our account here, and
Be careful with that, so you're not showing anybody's information.
You can't see it. It's fine.
Okay.
This one can't show anything because there's nothing to show.
Okay.
But if you go over here to any of the buttons at the top and you interact, you can create a new email draft. And when you do that, it'll tell you like how many people you're going to email. And so like right now, if I were to send some kind of email, it'd go to 10 people. And in general, that's something like the premise for the Canva templates one here is like when we update it, we'll email people. So like if like we had any template, or if we realized something was messed up, or whatever, like we can send an email to everybody and they can do that. And so like sometimes though we'll send out promotional things like, hey, we have this sale going on, like check it out. Especially when it's something free. I feel bad sending emails out like, hey, buy this stuff, but I don't feel bad about being like, hey, go get this free stuff. And even when we do send out things for paid things, I usually include at the bottom like a reply to this email and we'll send you a random key. And so like at the bottom of the email here, it would actually say that. And then
we have quite a few people reaching out and just starting conversations and getting to know people. So that's a really cool way to reach out to people that have gotten some things in the past. And
yeah. And when we send those on a Friday, like any day of the week, like does okay, but Fridays like just blow up. Like everybody's around, like especially Friday morning. Like if I get on here at like 9 a.m. and send an email, like it's going to do way better than any other time. So having a 10-day period for this zine bundle means we get to do 2 Fridays and 2 Saturdays, 2 Sundays. So like lots of time for people to come over and grab it. It is going to be a free bundle, so like nobody has to pay anything for it. What happened with the free RPG day was that the way that itch works when you do a co-op bundle, which is a bundle that includes more than just yourself as a creator, if you want to have those things linked to your account, so like you buy something and it's permanently attached to your account, so you go to the page and it shows like you own this, like download here. If you want that to happen with these things, you have to pay at least $1. And so a lot of people will pay $1, or even sometimes they pay like 6 or 10 just as a tip or whatever.
Yeah, with a bigger bundle, like the bigger the bundles are, they end up tipping a little bigger as well.
Yeah, and honestly, like I even did that with a couple of them. Like for $1, like I have like 50 things linked to my account. Yeah, that's awesome. Go for it. Like that's much better than otherwise it just kind of brings up a page that you can download them from, and if you lose that page, you lose access to it. And so these are like basically if you were to pay $1 on these, then you would get it, but you like linked to your account, but you can also have them for free. And that's kind of the promotional aspect of it is, hey, get all this stuff for free, check out new creators. In a perfect world, we'd kind of all share our fans with each other. That's what I liked about the RPG Day one, is we all were creators who made fairly similar RPGs. And like, at least, to where like if somebody that made or liked what we made found it, they'd probably like, Chris was in it. We had, Julie might have been in it. I can't remember. Okay, yeah. And then we had like 8 other people. And so like if anyone liked any of those people's things, they'd probably like the other people's things too. And so it just became this cool way to like kind of share each other's fans. And we got so many downloads from that. It's awesome.
That's something that I want to do with this one is go through and just like read everybody's zines and comment too. So hopefully we can get other
Yeah,
people commenting on each other's and kind of discovering each other as well. Kind of like the vibe with Instagram. A lot of people will just post their zines like straight on there so people can read them.
yeah.
Um,
I
so
like
it's nice to just go through them and look at them all.
the zine seems really neat because it is very like it's kind of underground. It's kind of like make it yourself a home, and it's very like punk to the point that like like you're not doing zines to make money. You're doing the zines to like express yourself or
Yeah, and to get the
yeah,
word out,
yeah, exactly. So like you're not really like there's nothing against sharing that on an Instagram post. Like you could
I
just
like
put the whole thing on there.
the zine discords are funny because they're always talking about like, hey, where can I shove my zines? They're like, just go to the library and leave them in a book. Like people use them as a bookmark and check it out. So a
That's
lot of people
awesome.
are like, I just stuff them in books in the library.
Yeah, and they're only a single page, so like it's like it's not like it's. I mean, I understand if you're like an not safe for work creator or like you're
Yeah, you
making
don't want to be
stuff with
shoving
more
those in there,
sensitive
but
topics. Yeah, but like if you're making like I like turtles. Here's 8 reasons why. Like that's not gonna upset anybody. In fact, honestly, if I were a librarian and I was working in the library and people just started shoving like random little things in there, I'd probably love it because like something new. And like you'd have to be careful again that like people aren't
yeah.
doing anything inappropriate, but like it would be really fun otherwise. So, um, okay, I think that's everything. Then, did you have anything else?
No, I think we can get into the like zine templates. You've been working on this. I don't think I'll have much to say. I
You're
think
fine.
I'll just add in.
So this was basically a team effort in that Angel had all of them basically together in a like templates folder on Canva, and then I took all of them, like wrote instructions for each of them, put the itch page together. She looked over it all. Um,
Yeah, and we'd made most of these templates like years ago. Like we just used them all the time, and so we kind of change them and mess with them, to fit what we're doing as we go, and so then we get more templates as we go on.
yeah, and that's basically what this is. Is like we use these all the time. Like this is something that we like. When we make a zine, we just copy this zine template. We copy the individual pages one. We make those are our two new files, and then we just edit those. So we don't.
Rename them, edit them, and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So like these are things like this bookmark one here. Like if I make a new bookmark game, it's actually really great for the 1 hour jams too. Like this one here is actually, and I'll go through all these in a little bit here, a lot more specifically. But this here is business cards made to be folded. So like the top one gets folded behind the back one, which is why the one's upside down. And like when you make something in an hour and you already have this stuff made, you literally just make the business card in Canva. You save the image, you drag that on here, and you just kind of basically place it. So like these 6 here get replaced with like the one side.
Yeah,
These
because they're all just sized right for what you need.
yeah, and then you're done. Like it took you all of like a minute to make this really nice printable format for something because it's just the same thing. So what we did, I was gonna include our 2-page format too for the zines, but because it's untested and because it requires double-sided printing, normally with a zine, like these are 2 different ones here. This one here, Angel did double-sided, which takes a lot more effort. We don't have those included in it, but it's much nicer because all the pages are double-sided. You have like, I'm way off this screen. You have like the front, and then it's an inside, and so on. This is the normal format though. It's like the front, and then when you open it up, you have the pages, which looks great. But each one of these is blank on the inside. You're basically just folding a piece of paper twice. It's way easier to do, and that's the format we have. But the 2-page format requires you to print on both sides. Otherwise, you're going to have like it's basically one page you fold it in half. So you have like the cover, and then when you open it up, the inside would be blank. So you'd only have the one page with stuff on it.
And then you have the bulk of the empty pages as well.
Right. So it's not really not a zine. Like more than anything else, that one's not one. So we did
Well,
not.
when you do it with the 4-page, it does. But yeah, the more you get extra pages added to it, the more it feels more like it's not.
Yeah, like this is I think an 8-page zine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12-page, 16, whatever it is. It's but you can see it's pretty dang thick, like for it being a 16-page zine.
Yeah, that's why I ended up doing the other format.
Like,
when you
yeah.
made that one that was so long, like I was like, this is just so bulky. I'm gonna get into the double-sided.
That was a 28-page zine in 4-page format. So yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, we need to cut the bulk down on this, and I'm gonna, like, it took me a bit because I was using scrap pieces of paper, and then I cut them in half, and I wrote the numbers on it, just so that my brain would wrap around where we needed to format this template. And I actually still need to do that, like if we do any kind of different pages, like because the pages are in different positions, like depending on how many pages you have for that format. So I actually just use like little quarter pieces of paper, and I write it out like a book, and I just write the numbers on there. Then I kind of set those papers down, and then they have the front and back numbers, and then I get on the template and I number those, and it doesn't take as long as you'd think it does. It's not bad, but it took me a little bit to figure that one out. Like out of all of our zines, that one's the one that kind of gave me a little bit of head scratching, but I'm happy now that I've gotten some of those down. Like we've got them on like 8-page and 16 and 24 and 28. So
that's awesome. For starters, this is free. Like this template thing is completely free. But basically, normally you wouldn't have this be the case. Where these are basically community copies of the free copies of a free thing. The reason is because if you have community copies for something that's free, it'll still count as them buying it. So this will be linked to your account when you get it, and it also means that I can email you like when we update it. Because otherwise,
like add templates or
we don't see emails of people who buy things like this. Like we'll never. I mean, I think technically we could go through, but for one, it's a lot of work. For two, anyone who uses an H email like that is actually breaking terms of service, H, and you can have your account shut down. We have like 150 something things on H. I really don't want to lose our account for sending a couple emails. You know what I mean? So this basically does it. But when you download it, you get this file here. It'll be in a PDF instead of this is a Google Doc. But basically, it's this, which is like one page of like instructions for the whole thing. And I ramble a lot, so that's why it's on the page. And then there are the lists of the templates. Right now, there are also these extra links here. Like normally, it would just be this one and this one. Right now, I have these other Canva links because these are examples. So we're going to go through all the examples, and you can see how these work basically. But when you open this up, it's going to pull up a thing like this. When you do that, you're going to have, like on your screen, you won't have this. It won't be editable. So you'll have to click at the left corner here. It'll say make a copy, I want to say. That's what it says. Yeah, it says it. Oh, I didn't say it on this one. Literally everything else I said this on. This one, of course.
Oopsies.
But when you do these, you have to make a copy, which it'll say here. Yeah, to use this, click File at the top left and then Make a Copy. So there'll be a File button here, and then you hit Make a Copy. It's basically this, Make a Copy, except that it'll be a little over to the right. And then once you've done that, you can do whatever you want with it. It's your file. But each of them has like a page like this of explanation of how to use it, and then it'll have like the pages. So the first two are the simplest ones. These are just the kind of itch page stuff is what I call them. We have the cover image, which is 630 by 500. And this is basically, if we're to go to, in fact, we'll go here into the Canva template one. This image right here is what they call the cover image. And it says right here, 630 by 500. The minimum is 315 by 250. This is double, so it's going to be a little more high quality. But this is how you see this anytime it's on Itch. So like when you search for things, like if I were to go to like itch.com or itch.io rather, and like we have our things from people that we follow. And so all these things are here that people have released. In fact, something Chris just made is actually on this list right here. I didn't know that was even made. That's cool. That's good to know. All these things, this is what the main thing you see. Like, you know, there's a title below it and then the designer of it below that and then a little description. But 9 times out of 10, where you're going to notice first is this image. Like, you know, like just looking at this thing, I see one page RPG Jam, I see like a Pokemon thing, I see the word chat, I see really colorful fairy tin, I see this like these awesome birds, you know, the quest giver, you know, so like these are what grab your attention. And so that's one of the most important things you're going to add. This was just basically that. So you're like, you know, when you're done reading this, you can just, you know, delete it. and then you have this blank one you can make. And then the other thing is it's called the itch banner, which we always refer to as the header, and we always call the cover image the logo, like just us talking about it. So you ever hear us mention like its logo, we're talking about the cover image. The itch banner is an optional thing. If we're going to go to something more recent we've made, you can quote me on that. Angel had. You can quote me on that. Has a banner here. Like normally here, it'll show you the text of the game itself. So we go to Canva images templates here. It's just Canva templates, like plain text, whatever, boring. You can replace it here by going into Edit Theme, and then you upload. It'll say banner upload, but since there is one, it doesn't say that.
That's something important when you use the electric zine maker. It actually gets rid of any of images that you have on the right hand side. Like normally it will show the cover image or any images you've downloaded. But if you do have that electric zine maker, it takes all that away. So I like to have a banner at the top. Otherwise, it doesn't even display the name of what your project is.
Yeah, that's true. And unless you actually click the like run whatever, like when you do that the first time, it'll actually give you like a little like like loading first time or whatever. So like you don't even know what this thing is. Like if you were just to like go to this page, or like for me, a lot of times I will open like 10 different things that I'm interested in or whatever, and then kind of go through all of them. And so if I were to do that, then I'd forget what this thing even was and be like, why did I open this? And so that might be a problem. Okay, hopefully that helps. Oh, I see. It's probably dangling. It's probably rubbing that. Angel point out that my mic is probably rubbing something.
Yeah, I was hearing like a.
I'll move the ears a little bit. But yeah, I swing my thing like I've seen my hand a couple times, and I'll move my pen. So this is optional, but it is very nice. It gives the page more vibe. In fact, Angel, if you notice here, normally when you make an itch page, it's got like plain text, it's got a gray background, it's got white behind here, and a mix of red. If you go in here though, Angel has changed the text for like linking to a different color, and then she also changed the background color here. You can actually change the whole background itself to like an image or whatever, which repeats itself. I remember doing what is it called? Random Zine of Kindness. I guess I'm not thinking about Random Zine of Kindness. Definitely, yeah, there it is. You see like the hearts in the background, but you can tell like see right here it repeated itself, so the heart is cut off, which looks a little funky. Over here too, you can see like that. So it's very hard to get backgrounds to repeat themselves to look good, which is why we don't usually do it. Really change the color stuff.
Yeah, it's hard for me to tell because my laptop's smaller than your screen is. So like I don't see that, and it'll cut off, and it'll look fine for me, and then all of a sudden for a bigger screen, it's like ew.
That is a lot of the problem too, because like if you even go from like on this one for example, if I minimize the screen more, now the page looks very different. Like you're not seeing that repeated thing anymore because the page is smaller. Or if you're on mobile, it's going to look very different. So like that doesn't help anything at all when you have like all different sizes to worry about.
Right.
But this kind of just guides you through like this is called the banner. These are called the background. This is just a description of how to use it. But now that we're through those two, we're into the main stuff here.
Yeah, we like to include this though because a lot of people are completely new to itch and don't know where to start, and so it's nice to just give the like, hey, this is what you can do, and you don't have to be afraid of it.
Yeah,
it's easy. This is what size you need.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, there's somebody, I don't remember. Like I was gonna try to find it, and I couldn't even remember the name or anything. Somebody had actually made an itch page where they have like all of the sizes of everything on the whole page. So like they do a much better job of that. And you'll find other people that do probably all the stuff we're doing here better, but like these are ours, and so we're more familiar with them. And like I think it's really cool that people have done that, like kind of gone through and like like they even had on that one like if you have a image size this much, like it looks like a square. If it's this much, it looks like a rectangle, or like whatever on here.
There's a few templates I saw even on Instagram for different zine formats that we haven't tried yet, and I'd like to check those out. But I think I'll have to like lay them out myself so that we have those things where we can just drop the images in, because a lot of times what they do is they just print it out physically, like with the numbers on it, and then they cover it up with like decoupage and things like that. So it'd be
Yeah.
nice to do like a drag and drop like we have.
And I do think that's really cool too, that actually like main zine creators like don't even use anything computerized. They just like all of our zine pages actually have like a how do I fold this on it. Quote me on that. If you come down here, there's a little YouTube video that's like how do you fold it though, and then this video actually has this person like fold the paper up and then make like cut it and everything. Okay, now it's a blank zine, and so then he writes about different things about shoes.
I'm
And
not
so
sure
like,
you're sharing that window.
oh, you're right. I'm not. I'm so sorry.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, here we go. Whoops. Nice thing by having like so many different things open at once. So yeah, this person here making a zine about like first he's going through and making it blank, showing you how to fold it up. So that's why we included it, is because folding an 8-page zine isn't the easiest thing in the world, especially the first time. But then once he's done that, he goes through and then kind of basically writes like an 8-page zine by hand, like about shoes. And so that's basically what a lot of zine creators do. They'll actually make these all by hand, like they'll do hand art, hand letter, you know, like whatever. And then you just scan it in, and then people can basically download that and make it into their own zine. So like, it's a very like, you know, like not technologically based realm, whereas a lot of stuff is. I like that about it. Oh my goodness, I just broke. Okay, there we go. My computer was like, nope, I give up.
Oh no.
So this is the we have the two different forms of zines that we make, which is the 8-page and the 4-page format. The 8-page is the standard, and Angel actually made the second one here too. But basically, this is what you. I'll go the other one first. So first we have the individual page file, which is just this. So like, you'd make these, like you'd make your 8 pages, and then what you do is you share and you download just the ones you want. So like I wouldn't do page 1, I just do page 2. It already says PNG file, so you download it, and then once that's downloaded, you take it and you put it here, and then you I would have to go to my downloads folder, which I don't have open right now, even though I always do. What the heck? You drag it in here where it's like on this corner. This is drop files to upload. So now we have this blank page here, and then you just drag it in, and as long as you put it over one of the squares, not on the number or the text, but like over the actual gray square, it'll place it in there for you. Then you just drop it and it'll be there. When you're doing these top 4, because you see these numbers are upside down, what you need to do is you need to click it. You need to hit flip, horizontal, and vertical, which isn't going to show you anything because it's the weight square. But basically that takes it and it flips it upside down, like over, like like this, and then it flips like this. Whoops. And in doing so, you are basically fully reversing the image itself, because otherwise, if you only just do the vertical, it won't look right. I'm going to undo that because this is actually the template file, and so yeah, there we go. But this is an example.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
This is an example of both. This is actually the one Angel was talking about. You can quote me on that. And so she has the pages here laid out. And actually, this is one of the things I want to mention too, especially Angel pointed it out. All of these will say that in the instructions, but when you're making these things, folding and cutting are imperfect. So you want to keep at least like 20 to 30 bare minimum away from the edges.
Yeah, margins are important.
Yeah, margins, exactly. So like you can see right here, if you press something, you click on this, and then you hold the Alt key, it'll show you how far away it is from different things. So you can see 31 pixels away from both sides, and almost 40 away from the top and the bottom. And then if we go to the text box itself,
yeah, normally I don't push it that close. I usually have a lot more, but I have a lot to say in this one.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna get it as close as I can.
Fair. And it really doesn't matter for the digital book or the electric zine maker one. It's just for like when you actually print this, because it is very easy to just miss a fold by a little bit and have that mess up.
Or like if you do trim, like if you have bleed lines that print, and you trim those off, our printer is really weird in that like it'll make the left bleed line like a little bigger than the right one. Like it's not centered. So like when you go to trim that white off of there, sometimes I end up cutting off like part of one of the pages.
Oh,
and if you don't have that like lined up right, you can hack off part of your zine. So you got to be careful.
That is a good point. Yeah, too. Like you can see on this one, this was the layout once Angel has made hers. And like I said, you can see that these are flipped upside down and vertical. If I were to take this and I hit flip in both directions, now it's normal. But if you just do vertical, all the letters are weird because
it's backwards.
Yeah, it's backwards. So if you do horizontal too, then it does fix that. And so on this one, what it is you literally just take the pages and you go bloop, 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 and then you flip them. And this is what it looks like when it's made to be printed. When you make these individual ones, you want to download as PNG files, like actual images. And you click download here, it's going to download a zip folder. You have to unzip that and then bring them in here like I showed you at the one. With this zine, though, you'll want to share and you want to download this as a PDF. When you can do this as an image, but the problem with doing images, especially for something that you're going to print, is that all the different image programs print things differently. Like some of them might force you to have it in a smaller space. Some of them might mess with the colors. Some of them might like not let you rotate it because they're just annoying. Like you never really know. But a PDF is just going to be printed as a PDF. You don't have to worry about that.
We've actually had updates to our printer as well change the way our printer handles things. We were having to save the files that we had with bleed lines, and that worked out fine for us. And then we had an update, and now if we save it with bleed lines, it really eats into the size of our like it adds bleed lines and those. So it's just strange that you have to really pay attention to the fact that, oh, it's not printing the way it used to, or it's not, Canva is saving different than it did, and this just doesn't work. So all of the files we had, that I had resaved, I had to go resave again as something different.
Yeah, and we're up to like 53 zines or something now, so that was a lot of files to redo. Julie says, printers can be so rude. And yeah, Chris says, I wish I could print things without printers. I love printing stuff. I hate printers.
We used to do. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was agreeing. Yeah.
We used to do at work where we would print off one, and that would be your master copy, and then you just copy them on the copy machine. And you didn't have to worry about the printers or printing that off. You just copied them. So it would be nice if we actually at some point had a copier, but we don't need it right now because we don't go to different. We don't table it. Zine things or anything like that. I don't know, my brain's not coming up with the word for that, but
oh, no, you're totally fine. Yeah, we have a
zine cons. That's it. No.
We have a printer that does copies, but then it's still a printer. So you don't get away from the printer by using the copier.
Right. It still prints on the copier.
The other thing worth pointing out here is that this the zine template layout also includes landscape / horizontal one. Angel says she calls it landscape, but basically this is for if you have maybe photography or things that should be read sideways. So instead of reading your zine
business card things really fit for that.
Flip it like this, yeah. So you'd open it here and then you'd read through this way instead. Angel did that with she said that about business cards as a game called Just Rolling With It, which is a collection of several of our business card games. And so it's like that too. And
yeah, that's the main reason I made this, was because I was trying to reacclimate our business card games and they looked awful in portrait. So I said, I've got to fix this. And so I figured it out. One thing that I did note on this is that you can't just rotate or use the flip on these. You have to, when you download your images, you actually have to on your computer and your computer files, rotate them to the position that it needs to be in. then upload them, and you can drop them in. For some reason, the flip just doesn't work on those.
Yeah. Yeah. Canva will take these things and be like, oh, well, this, like, because technically these are images that were put into place. And then you're basically replacing the image with another image. You're putting an image in an image. That's what you're doing technically. And so, like, it's what it's saying is like,
Specifically acclimated that way.
yeah, this thing is a vertical thing. So when you put it in there, it's going to go vertical, and you can't rotate that. Like, so, like, yeah, basic. But it's really easy. If you just open up an image, you can generally find little like rotate symbol thingies on it. Or even if you just Google like rotate my image, you'll find like some online program that'll let you do it. The other thing to mention, and I forgot to do so, delete the numbers off when you're done. Like, there it hasn't been often, but I think at least once I like would do a test print, and I would do and like put the things in here, and then I would print it, and the like giant numbers were still over it.
Like, oh wait, oh yeah. I think we've both done that at one point or another.
Also, I forgot to say anything, but if anybody has any questions about any of these, like, feel free to let us know.
Or if you have tips or templates of your own that you want to share, just let us know. You can send them our way.
And in the document that you download, the PDF here, in fact, it's at the top of this page now. If there's any other formats you like, to let us know. We can't guarantee, we're going to make everything, but if we, if it's not too much work, or like if we just, hey, that sounds like a cool thing to make, like, let's do that.
I know a few months ago, someone even had said, hey, do you have a low ink for this? And I didn't. And so I spent an hour, just making a black and white version of something. And
oh yeah, that's another great point too. In fact, the next thing we go into is going to have, I'll skip to that actually a little bit here. This is the business card one. That it's really good to have options for things. This is the print of the business cards. And so what we did for Time Shapers was we did it in like this foldable version. That's why there's only lines across here, because you basically cut these out, and then you just take that piece of paper and you fold it in half. So you're not having to, like
double-sided print.
Yeah, exactly. But then we also have where it's just, these are the fronts, these are the backs. So you can double-sided print. There's also, like, if you just want to print like one of the instructions for everyone to share, and then give every single person like the game itself to play together, like, then you'd have those for everybody. So it's just really nice to have options for people, especially for printing. If you have like a color version, and then like you'll notice here, this does not have black and white or low ink versions. This was another 1 hour game. I think we actually made this one in the hour. And I think that actually included these templates too, because I only had like one of them. I didn't have this foldable one.
I think we did that for the bookmark jam too, where we ended up having the like back and front, and then we ended up doing the foldable one, and a lot of people ended up using that. So that was really cool. They're like, it was foldable. Really nice. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I don't remember if you were the one that figured that out or if we stole it from somebody else. But if you did it, then other people took the idea and ran with it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that same jam, I stole an idea from Michelle for a game too. So, it's not like, I'm like upset with anybody for stealing it. Like, we want people to steal.
No, I was glad that people were like, we pack everybody else's games. So it was really cool. It's like, okay, cool. Like, we inspire people to make them differently that way. Now that they didn't feel like they needed to do just a one-sided thing because they were worried people couldn't double-sided print.
Right. Yeah, and it's just so much easier to just be able to take something and fold it than it is to like double-sided print. Like our printer, like if you double-sided print something, it doesn't line up right. So when Angel does those special double-sided things, she actually has to let it print, put it back in the printer in a different direction or whatever.
And that's fun for those like 28-page ones, because you have to also like change all the like papers, like they have to go top to bottom, like, so you have to like reorder them, then put them in the other way, and then print them. So it's just like, okay, remember that these aren't in the right order and that you have to put them face up. And so
Julie says she loved the bookmark jam too, by the way.
Yeah, that was a really fun one. I hope that they do that again.
Me too.
If not, maybe we'll have to do that close to like maybe September. I thought it'd be a great idea to do bookmarks to hand out during trick-or-treating, like zines and bookmarks. So it'd be really fun to get people to do the bookmark jam and then just print them up and hand them out to kids.
Yeah, it would be really cool actually if we were able to, if I don't know how that'd work though, because like itch allows you to separate income based on like, like if you're doing a co-op jam, you actually set the percentage of money people make, so that itch handles all of it. Like, if we run the free RPG Day bundle jam, or bundle rather, and it makes like $100, like the other 9 people or 10 people in it don't have to trust me afterward to take that $100 and give them
Right.
10% of it. It just handles it automatically. So each payment gets divided by the people. But if you release an item on there, like an actual game or something, there's no option for that. But I was just thinking it'd be really cool if you had like, like, and we'll get to that in a little bit, but like basically like, for as far as bookmarks go, if you had, oh my goodness, that's annoying. I forgot that these actually are lines that are on top of the things, because if you put it behind, it won't show them. So that's annoying. I'll have to explain that in the thing. Anyway,
You're talking about printable bookmarks.
Yeah. If you were to take, like, if everybody made a bookmark, you could take each one and you could put it in the sheet, and then you just have like, like 1 or 2 pages or whatever, and you could just print that and then like cut them up and give them to people, versus like downloading like 20 different things.
Well, that's something that you could do, is have the whole bundle be everybody's individuals, but then like give everybody like the master file for that, so that they could end up downloading just that.
That's fair. It could even be some kind of exclusive thing, like you can only get it through the bundle, and then we can delete that item, because then we don't have to worry about like, oh, this thing just made a $3 sale, we got to split that between 27 people now, and like it's going to cost more money to send the money than it is to like actually.
Right, but if everybody got access to like one download of all of them together, that would be cool too. Yeah. That'd be something to think about.
Yeah.
But so that would be cool to have like a trick or treat printables.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're really neat, and you could do all kinds of stuff too. Like one person could do business card or a bookmark or coloring book, or like, because we have the one coloring book zine and just things like that. Like maybe like Julie could do one with some writing, or Chris could do one with like a collection of his like tweet games, or things like that. So it just could be like whatever anybody wanted to contribute to it. That'd be fun. I like that. I'm gonna have to make a note of that for later.
That'd be cute.
Definitely not gonna listen to this later, so let me email that to myself real quick.
What were you talking about with the lines though?
That for whatever reason, okay, so on this file right here, when I go to click on it, right, it's showing the whole blue box around the whole thing, and that is because these lines are above everything else.
Okay.
I may be able to fix it here real quick. Hold on. If I just take the lines and I move them underneath. Nope. Yeah, see, they disappeared that way. Like they're no longer. Well, they're still visible though. I don't know why it's okay on this one then. Because see, like that's over it. Anyway, so yeah, that's something we'll have to figure out for this thing. But basically, like, it's nice to have options. So like if you just took this and you hit this button right here is duplicate. So if you duplicate this page, you could then insert like all the black and white versions. So like if you had black and white of these, you could just make the black and white version. And then if you did another one, you could have, this would be like low ink. So like, because like a lot of times the black and white will still have a lot of art on it or whatever, and a low ink is more like just very basic font and basic like art, if any. So that way people who like don't have much ink can still print things without having to like use up half of a $27 ink cartridge or whatever. And when you do that, it is like, and I kept this on here, it's really nice to have something that explains it, so people aren't like having to look at it and figure out what they need or don't need. No, you can just look at a glance and be like, okay, this is what I want. And then yeah, like this is the actual individual bookmark, and the same thing. You download this as a PNG, you would drag it, move it into this section so that it uploads it. Those all go to your uploads, by the way, if you're ever curious where they are. And if it's not there for some reason, like because like let's say I uploaded it on this page, then it doesn't show up on this one yet. You'd have to refresh it. Those are our bookmarks, or our business cards, though.
You keep showing the images from the zine I've been working on.
This is
Princess Bride stuff.
yeah, that's in there right now. It goes by what most recently has been used. And speaking of the 28-page zine, I forgot that was the example for the 4-page zine template. So these are the individual pages again, which is just this is how you use it as a quick little thingy. Remember that the inside pages are like, so like one is the cover, the last one is the back cover. Everything else is going to be open like a book. So you can have fun like having things cross between those two pages or whatever. But we have here, this is the example one that I've got here is Dearest, I'm Stuck on an Island. It's an epistolary game, which means you're writing letters. And it's a 28-page game. So like very long. But basically that's it. You just kind of write out, and you'll see here too that each one of these is like 39 pixels away from the edge. Even the like page number is 25 away. So like we're keeping within like the middle here to some extent, so that when it gets folded, it's not too bad. This is 24 away, which is really close. It's a lot closer than it should be, but like don't have much option because there's so much text here. These are the like prompts for the diamonds of the deck. These are the regular deck. And then when you have those, oh my goodness, why is it like that? I messed up. Okay, these should be flipped upside down and vertical. But basically, when you do a 28-page or you do a 4-page zine and anything beyond 4 pages, and I wrote it out here too for people to see. When you do 4 pages, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom, end of story. You're doing more, like there's a 12-page example here. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it goes back up the other side. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Basically, first and last, and then it snakes up and down.
Are you sure that wasn't the half page?
Oh, like, maybe that's what it is.
Right. I was like, don't flip that over because they don't need to be for the half page. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I did not want that.
Oh, yeah, that's just double-sided right on there. That's
I was like,
okay.
That's a double-sided. Don't do that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, you didn't mess up. You're just not in the 4-page format. Like this is the whole reason that I built this template was for this scene because it was so big with the 4 paper, fold over. So those don't go upside down for that file. Sorry.
Right, because that's get printed. You're fine.
Now you can move on. I was just like, please flip that back.
Yeah, no, you're good. That was basically it. This is the same thing as any of the templates, except that you are slotting in a specific direction. Like you're going page 1, 2, 3, 4. In fact, that's why you'll see here too that like the numbers are different. Like this is, instead of the front cover and then the back cover, this is back cover and the front. Instead of page 1 and 2, this is 2 and then 25. So like it is backwards. But like we figured that out the hard way because when I first started making the 4-page zines, I had to figure out how to make them. You basically nest them in one another. So like this is Their Shadow Slumber, which is I think I said a 16-page one. But it's basically a bunch of pieces of paper that are all folded. This is why I like the 4-page zine format, by the way. Because 4-page zine format, you don't have to cut anything. You literally just fold it one way, and then you fold it the other way, and that's it. This is it. Like you're done.
Yeah, it's a lot easier for people to do at home, like without having to learn, like, oh, you have to trim this and cut it and put them together in a certain order.
Yeah. And then these are like, because this is 16 pages, which I just double checked. This is the 4 pieces of paper all folded and nested into one another. So that's basically what you're doing. It is much thicker that way, but it is nice to be able to it's easier to fold and stuff, and then B, you can make them longer. Like an 8-page zine, you can't really like put another 8-page zine in an 8-page zine. But with the 4-page or the 2-page format, you totally can. You can do as many pages as you want then. Like it kind of ends up more like a little booklet, but it misses that like homemade aesthetic of the 8-page zine. And also means like because of that, you don't have that restriction of size. It's one of the nice things about the 8-page zine is you have 8 pages. You have a front cover, you have a back cover, you have 6 pages in the middle. Like,
did you? Sorry.
You okay?
Did you include the zine template for the 8-page half zine? I didn't think you did that one. Like I made one that takes up half a sheet of paper that's an 8-page zine, so it's like a mini zine. They're tiny.
Oh no, I didn't even find that. That's funny. No,
Yeah,
I
I
don't have
have
that.
that too. I only did it for that cat zine that I did because it looked really cute, like as a half zine. But then you can print 2 zines on 1 sheet of paper, and you cut it in half, and you have 2 pieces or 2 zines. But that's just for kind of a very minimalist thing because it's really small.
That's awesome. That's fun though. There is
But
like
they're
a
super cute.
34-page zine formatter, like 28 or 24 or something too, like where you fold it like way more. So like,
Yeah,
there's a
Chris,
lot.
you just use the same format as the 8-page zine, but you use it on a half sheet of paper. So then you print both of them on like 1 sheet of paper and then cut it in half, and then you make your 8-page zine out of that half a piece of paper instead. Really cute.
That would absolutely destroy me because I like already have a hard time fitting what I want to say in something. So like,
Well, I did it with the photo one, and there wasn't much set on it. Like
oh, that makes
so,
sense. Okay.
yeah, it was.
I was gonna say I thought that this like how to write a hit metal song like zine would be a good example of like me not writing that much on a page, but like honestly, when you open this, they're like it's full of text. Like that is like completely full. Usually when I do a regular zine like these, it's more like a little text at the top, some kind of image, and then some text at the bottom, or like you play with the little way the images are included. But no one actually is a bad example of that. Um, Next is our postcards. We just started recently using these. One more thing I wanted to cover first. When you do any of these things, we were just talking about size. When you do any of these things at all, if you have a printer at home, or like if you're at a library or whatever, and you can just pay like a dime or whatever to like have a print made, like do me a huge favor. And what you want to do, and I'm gonna even lay it out here so you can see it. Let's make a blank page here at the end of this is the postcard size. I'm gonna make a blank page. And what you want to do is like let's say I really liked this font right here, right? Garrett. And I didn't already play with the font sizes. So what you want to do is you want to take that once you've found out like the tests are, does it look good with what you want to say? Is it easily readable? And do numbers or punctuation work in it? Because there are some fonts where like quotation marks look weird, or like like this one here is all uppercase, but like some of them just don't do lowercase fonts. Some of them can't be like this one can't be italicized, but it can be bold. Maybe it's really important to you to be able to italicize or bold something. So you want to make sure that the font you choose can do all those things. Then what you want to do is you want to take it and you want to make like a bunch of copies of that text. You want to go through here, like this is 22.7, or let's say it was 22, right? So we want to go through here and we want to make this 23. We want to make this one, oh, of course, it's going to be really annoying. But like basically what you're going to do is, let's go the opposite way then. 21, we're going to go this one as 20. We're going to go this one as 19. Maybe you're really sure that it's going to be close to that, so you want to go 18.5 and then like 18. Like basically you're enlarging and or shrinking the font just a little bit at a time. Then you're gonna like save this as a PDF or as a PNG file. You're gonna take it. You're gonna plug it into one of these here in the template so you can print it. You need to look at that print. You need to make sure that the font looks okay, because it is really difficult, especially on the smaller things, but also on the bigger things. Like if you were to do a 2-page format or something, sometimes your font's just huge and you don't know it until it's too late and you've made the whole thing and it just looks awful, and then you have to redo your whole thing. Or like the font is irreadably small, and so now you have to rephrase everything you said because now you have to make the font bigger. So do a test print as early as humanly possible once you find out what font you like. And if you have like headings or whatever, like do a test print of that too. Like this one here, I have order up and then last month's wins. You'll need to test print both of those things because they're both separate. You need to make sure that this looks okay with this, and that both of the font sizes are okay, but they're not too close, because like maybe you want one to be smaller than the other. Test print's super important. I have it written on every single one of them. Oh my goodness. Chris shared a dungeon for ants, which just makes me think of the Zoolander thing, which I'm sure is what they're going for. Can I
The
pull that up?
template's really cool because it like folds over. So I think that they use like the one sheet and then they fold it over. So this is like the half size, but they use both sides by folding it.
couldn't copy paste from that screen. But oh wow, yeah, I see now. There's actually a little video even now. Like yeah, the tiny little like micro zine. That's amazing. And hey, if anybody's interested, there are 3 community copies left, so you can grab one.
I grabbed one.
That's why there's 3 instead of 4 right now. That's cool.
Yep, it is.
Hey, there's a great example too. See, it says you own this zine when you go to the page, which is what happens when you link a game or whatever to your account, which is really nice because, like, let's say 6 months from now, we just come across this and it looks really cool, and we'd be like, oh, hey, it's only $2, let's buy it. And so you buy it, and then you find out you already own it. And so this prevents you from doing all that when you can just be like, oh, I already own it, like download.
Yeah.
So thank you, Chris, for sharing that. That's awesome. But yeah, I think that's one of the things about zines that are so cool. Like you can do anything. We had Rebecca here a couple weeks ago, and she had made one that was like cootie catcher. So like, you know, you fold it up like that, and then you actually like open it up and like, you know, use it like that. And so like, you know, these things come in all different forms, shapes, and sizes and stuff. It's really cool to kind of play with what works best for your purpose, basically. And so that's kind of why we have so many templates for our stuff, because there are different times different things work for us. This one being a postcard. And when we say postcard, it's 4.25 by 5.5 inch, which, and I mentioned this on one of the things, but it's also in the document, that when you print these things, on most printers, unless you actually have a special printer that'll print borderless, like ours doesn't do that. But if you don't, it will shrink these things just a tiny bit because it'll add a little border on the outside. So this technically ends up being like maybe like 4.1 something by like 5.4. You know, like it's a very slight difference. But these were made to be printed. Like if you go to Amazon or Walmart and you buy like there's these pieces of paper that have perforation down the middle. So like this right here. There's 4 different cards on there, and they're perforated through the centers both ways. And then you can just kind of like fold those and rip them apart. And then you have like 4 actual postcards. Whereas when I tried to do the 4x6, which I think was the biggest it said you could do for postcards, because postcards are cheaper to mail. It's only 56 cents here in the US at least as of the 23rd. I haven't checked since, but it was only 56 cents to mail those versus 73 cents for normal envelope. So the postcards are nice for that. And this is within that size. Like the USPS requires them to be a certain size or smaller, and this is small enough for that. But basically, we have the blank one here, which in Recipe for Success was, we have 6 different ones, even though only 2 different kinds. This is a good example of something with different versions of it, right? So we have, this is in blue, and then this is the exact same thing, but it's just in black. And then we have, this is in pink, we have purple, we have orange, and then we have, this is another black one. So we got rid of the background here because that would be so much ink if it was all black. But it's also lower ink because we don't have the solid color there. So once that
is nicer than me to include all those options, whereas like I just like make them if they ask for them. Well, I mean, a lot of times it seems like people don't print things out; they just want to like look at them. But a lot of your games, like you have where you can pass them around or do, so they make a lot more sense to print up. So.
Yeah, I like that the idea of it, of like, you know, like the whole you were saying about the zine, like just leave it in a library. And so like this is kind of like you leave it in a library.
Yeah. Well, and they have those lending libraries a lot now where you like in people's yards. So it's just really cool to drop things like that off.
Yeah, or like if you know, for like for Halloween, or like if you just like have some friends and you're like, hey, check this out. That's actually basically the premise of Recipe for Success. In fact, if you look at it, it says as by me with help from Angel and also Panic, because Panic and Angel both helped make this. It was the first of the 2 so far that we've done. We've done 3, 2 or 3, whatever, of our like in our server. I think so too. Like in our server of like streaming, you know, in the actual talking channel where everybody can get in there.
For 1 hour jam, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This one is it's basically if you were to kind of gamify very slightly accountability buddies. So basically what you do is you write out like what you did last month, like your wins for last month. You write out different things. These are all like foodie themed, like what prep you did for the month, what your habits for success are this month, what your urgent tasks are, and what your big projects and goals are. And then you'd be able to like either you can like you'll see why this is 13 pages because I wanted a little bit of everything, but I did write basically why too. This first one is all the color ones. Then we have one that's just black and white. Then we have one that's all four, which is the including the black and white, like of that kind. So if you already have the instructions, you don't need them anymore. Like here are the different pages. Then I have pages of each, just the cards. So like four of the black ones. Um, then I have the in each color. So like this one instruction manual and three of that color. Then there's four of that color. There's like the purple ones. There's just the purple ones. There's the pink ones. Just the pink ones. Just the rules. Just the black and white rules. So that way, like literally whatever you need out of this. Like if you want to read the rules online and never print them, that's cool. Like just just print the cards. If you are doing it to where like maybe Angel and I are both playing this together, right? So I decide I wanted to be orange because orange is my favorite color, and then purple is Angel's favorite color, so she'll be purple. So she would only print out the purple ones, and then I would only print out the orange ones. Or like if you're playing it by yourself, you don't have to play with other people. You can just like print out whatever color you like and use those, and then you can very easily like restock yourself too. Like if you're playing it with three other people and one of them drops out for a while, you don't print those colors. So
Yeah, that ends up making it a lot easier. I was just like, yeah, let's just print up one of each color, rainbow.
yeah, exactly. And so like I mean, it only took like an extra like 5 minutes to make those extra pages because you just all you do is like over there. So
Yeah,
like
you just drop them in.
Duplicate and then like you just slap the images in there like 4 times and boom, you're done. So that's the postcards though. In the template it's just the grays again. Like we generally just make a blank thingy, like basically like this, and then make a gray. And also there are instructions here too, like if you wanted to do vertical instead, like you don't want your card to be horizontal, you want it to be vertical. You just take this, hit resize and magic switch, which I think you need to be a pro member for, but you can always like create a new one anyway. And then you would just go resize, you'd go custom size, and then see it shows the current dimensions here. You would just go instead of 1056 by 816, you'd go 816 by 1056, and then you'd click that. You could continue, and it would just make it. And you can see here too, like basically it gives you like a brief like this is what the size is going to be like
Preview.
Yeah, exactly. So, like that's all you'd have to do to make that the other way. And I mean, technically, you can like no matter what you do, it's going to print out, and you can cut it out, and it doesn't matter. But it is way easier to actually like make it when you're not working with like the font being sideways and stuff. So
yeah, it's just so nice to be able to go into our template file, grab that, copy it, and then just create.
It really is, especially for the really quick like. We're gonna make something in an hour. Like that's what I've been doing lately because the last 2 times I made a postcard thing. So I'm like, I already have the, before I look at what the theme is and the hour starts, I already have the template file. I already have the blank file. Like I'm ready to go.
You're not having to worry about like lining all that up
and
worrying about dimensions and stuff like that. You've already got that. So
yeah, exactly. This bookmark one is probably the most complex of them all as far as what we've actually made, other than Angel's like print zines on double-sided. But these are the bookmarks. The bookmarks we do are 2 by 6 inches. That is quite a bit smaller than like when I searched for what size a bookmark is, 2 by 6 came up, and so that's what I made. And then I realized it was kind of small, but it's actually a really good size for like putting in a book because it's like not so big that like it's gonna fall out, and it's what's really nice about it.
A lot of people make the bigger ones, and then they're weird in like paperbacks because the paperbacks are smaller.
Yeah, very true.
I don't like them hanging out both sides.
Yeah, very true. And the thing I like the most about that is that it means you can print 6 bookmarks at one time. Like on one piece of paper, you get 6 bookmarks, and you even get like a little business card size thing here. So you get a little bonus there. And I actually kind of describe that because this is the template file, and it's the exact same except these are gray boxes, and then you have the Beth and Angel thing here, which I specifically say like replace that with whatever you want. You could do like, a business cardy kind of thing for yourself, because the instructions here for cutting it out basically just say cut along this line first, like a horizontally across it, and then from there you can cut however you want. So like you cut like maybe this line off second, and then like this line off third, and then you just have to cut here and then here and here, and that's free. But either way, this should be untouched, and so you can have like a little bonus thingy, like a little bonus game, or like a business card of yourself, or like if you wanted to do like a coupon code, because Itch will allow you to do coupon like sales. So like if you have a certain code, you can go to that website, it'll let you access it. So like you can do anything you want with that little space that makes you happy. And but it's nice to have that. And so what I included here as an example is New Book Plus, which is a game that we made that basically kind of helps you reread books. There's 6 bookmarks. The first one kind of explains how it works, and then the other 5 are games made specifically for rereading that book. So like the curtains were red, like kind of mocks the whole like literature teacher talking about, like, oh my goodness, they had blue sheets on their bed. You know what that represents? Or it represents sadness, and this and this and this are going to happen, and like it's basically exploding that. And so like you pick a color of something that happens on that page or whatever, and then what that means, it has a secret meaning. So like to that scene, and you basically have to like explore what that means for the book now that you know the secret about it. We have the case of the coded book, which means honestly don't even remember. I don't remember that one. But they all have little different things. Like paranormal paragraphs here, like all the ghosts are like there's 2 ghosts touching things. And so like when you basically come to a new page, you put this on the page, and if either of the ghosts are touching a place where there's a paragraph break, they're showing you where a paragraph vanished. So you have to write what that paragraph that's missing from the book is. We have My Precious, where you have hands. I actually stole this one 100%, and I did credit them. Okay, cool. It's called Beam a Base bookmark from someone, Nerds Only. And basically what that was is like there were like these UFOs or whatever, like kind of pointing at things, and they were like collecting them as like research for like their planet or something. I don't remember exactly. It's been a while. But basically all these hands are trying to steal things from the book. And so if any of these things are pointing at a noun, when you flip a new page and you put this on it, something happens with that. If it's a person, you steal something from them. If it's a place, you get to explore it. And if it's a thing, you just take it. And so basically you're journaling about how this changes the book. Your notes is basically a play on like Spark Notes, where you are rewriting for every set of pages. So basically like, pages like 17 and 18, you would take what happened on those 2 pages and you write a note, very brief, 10 words or less. Actually, I specified here, 1 sentence about what happened, and that's 10 words or less. You write what happened there. And then if it's a bigger book that you've summarized, you still have several pages. So you then use your notes again on the book you created out of it and re-summarize that until basically you have something very, very short. That's defined here in your notes, plus. And so basically the premise of this is that all of these are printed out one piece of paper. You cut them all out together. Like you don't have to print out like, 3 different pages because they're giant bookmarks or anything. And that's it. Like you'd have like this one sheet is all of them. You could, like if you were at a library, you could give these out and people could cut them out themselves. You could cut them out, give them away like one at a time. In fact, that's why I did this. You'll notice on this front page, it says, like get more of our stuff here. We learned the hard way when we did the first Tiny Library Jam. It actually resulted in a box of cards being published, and I forgot to put my name on it anywhere. So like there are hundreds of copies of a game that I made that are out there in the world that nobody would even know I made, like because my name's not on it. And so the premise here is that I put that on everything now. We both do, like we'll put Nuts by Us and then like get more of our stuff here. But also each of them has a QR code. So that way, like if you had a stack of these at a library or like you were giving them out at trick or treaters or something, like and somebody just got one bookmark, they could scan that, they'd go to the page for this game, and then they could just get the whole thing if they wanted to or whatever. So like it's always nice to have a way for people to find your work, to find more of your stuff, to find the full version of something or whatever. And that's the bookmarks. Like it automatically rotates these, by the way. Like if you were to move, I can just very quickly show you here. It's going to be the wrong size, but you can see like if I drag this here, it's vertical. If I drag it here, it's horizontal. It's automatically rotating it for me. But I really like the idea of it just being something that like you get a lot of use out of, but also you could just give away each one individually, like 2 people. Did you have anything to say about that one before I move on to the last things?
No.
Okay.
You covered it.
Yeah, sorry about hugging all the talking here, but there's a lot.
No, it's okay, and I feel bad that like you're probably gonna be hoarse, like, but you.
Oh, it's fine.
You're covering things.
This one here is in fact, I'm gonna go to this one. No. Okay, so this is specifically for the Tiny Library Jams on itch. The Tiny Library Jams are specific special things. I already mentioned them a few times here, but there are Tiny Library CCG Jams. Basically, what that is you basically have a theme, which like this current one that ends in like just under 5 days. You have to make a card that's a creature. So each of these entries is like a front and back card that's just a creature on it. And I'm just briefly seeing here. Okay, nothing from everybody that's in here at the moment. Rebecca Hero is here the other day, though. So is Mitchell. Both of them are on our server now. They're both awesome. But let's go here. Okay, that one doesn't have the image on it though, so I will go to the other one and see if there's images there. Yeah, here we go. So you can just see like this is the front and back of a card, and then this is basically like a creature that you can use in a game. And so each of these jams does that. Certain people will be selected to like have one, and then eventually will be printed into like collectible card game packs that will be sold. And we really like doing these anyway. So we have our templates here for the Tiny Library Jam cards. They're very specific, so I actually have 2 examples here. These are the last 2 that we entered. We haven't entered this current one yet. We still have 4.5 days to do it, so we'll get there. The template here is like there's a lot of instructions here because this is a very specific thing, and it uses this overlay. So it explains how the overlay works. But I can show you here on this one. So this has this overlay here. What you do is if you copy it, you paste it on here, you'll see where it's going to cut. These are like the Game Crafter templates. And what it is, basically, it's the Game Crafter template, but the transparency is moved down a lot. So like this is 100%, you can't see anything. You move it down to like 40% though, and you can see the card through it. So everything outside of this red line should definitely, absolutely get cut off. But everything outside of the blue line should be cut off. Since printing is perfect, some of the stuff on the other side of the blue line might still be there. Some of the stuff on the other side of this red line could potentially be there. So you should fill this whole space regardless. And so you can see here, like a really thin, what Angel did with the ice cream truck is all within the blue. All the text, the title here, the by her, the image, and everything else is all within the dashed blue. But beyond the dashed blue, there's like the plain colors behind it, like the white strip. We have this green strip here, and then the darker color is all basically bordered around it. And if we take this back out, you can see it better. And the same thing for the back. Like if we put that here, like you can see this is just barely outside, but that's fine. Like it's not a problem if this, or down here, like this is probably going to get cut off, but that's fine because if the stuff on the inside is lined up to be here with all that. So, and everything else is inside of it. There's the same thing here, except that it's horizontal. So all the, like some of the white here is going to get cut off. All this stuff will probably get cut off. But that's okay because the main thing here is that it's a monitor. So even if you didn't have this down here, you would see that like it is a monitor screen, or maybe you'd think that's a tablet, but that's fine too. And all the text is within that. So it's really important that you fill the whole page, but also keep to those guidelines. I actually specifically made this too. This is just so you can test print it. So you can drag things in here and you can like test your font size and stuff. These are standard card sizes, so they are small, especially if you have a fair amount to say. Like this here has a lot in the back, Like there are 20 different prompts and text above that. So I had to make sure that this font was readable. It's actually part of why such a basic font works perfectly. Not only does it match like, like kind of DOS-esque font, but it's very readable, even at a smaller size. And then Angel has much fancier here font that is very readable. And like when you test print too, you're also checking like the colors and stuff, things like that. So, and then the
It
front
is
here,
crazy how much like different fonts are completely different sizes. Like you can't, depend on, what you used before because it's just totally different.
right, exactly. Like this is 22 right here, and this is 22.3. But normally when you have font like this that's separate, in fact, this is different. No, it's also 22. A lot of times when you have fonts that are different, this like this might be 20 and this might be 15, but this is bigger, or this might have to be much bigger of a number to actually be readable, even though this font is much, like a much smaller size technically. So you really have to be careful with that when you do it. And then that just leaves one more template, and that is our standard card, which has a little more explanation to it too. This is for a poker size or playing card size, whatever you want to call that there, but it's 2.5 by 3.5, basically. I have a lot of text on this one for how to use it. But basically, you would make a card. In fact, I should make a blank one here at the bottom so people know. You would make your cards, which like cleaning house here is a horizontal card. So like it's different, but these are all playing cards. So when you make this game, in fact, I have what the sheet looks like too here once it's made. But we don't make those in Canva, and I explain how to do that. This is what it looks like on the actual printed file. Like it's actually laid out like 9 cards that are the right size. And then these are backs, just how to play cards. Then we have one of the how to play cards here too. So you could just print this one page and be okay, or you could print them with the backs, like you'd have the instruction on the plan each one. The premise here is that each of these cards is used. My goodness, I need a coffee or hard candy. Each of these is used to tackle housework, cleaning in a different way. Each of them has a different goal for what you're trying to do, or a job in these cases, and then just kind of how that's tied into reality. Like on, yeah, here we go, the Boy Scout one. All right, so I used to be in the Boy Scouts. One of the big things that we had that actually stuck with me was that anytime you go anywhere, you leave it better than it was when you got there. It's like you go to a camping site, it already looks pretty clean, but maybe there's some brush around or something. So you just move that into the woods so it's cleaner. If you go to the park and you find garbage on the ground, like pick one piece of garbage up. Like now suddenly that place is better than it was when you originally got there. And nobody's saying you have to fully clean up, just make it slightly better. So your job here for that day, ensure every space you enter is better off when you leave it. Doesn't matter who made the mess. It's up to you to clean it. And I think that's a lot of it too. It's so easy for us to just kind of get in our heads and be like, it's not my mess. Why should I clean it? And so when 1,000 people say that, nothing happens. It could even be that the person who made the mess didn't even know it. So like nobody will ever clean it because they don't even know, or they don't care, and nobody's going to make them care. So, but there are 9 cards here. So we have the 9 card files, and then we have the PDF that has all of them on. This is the how to use it though. What this is saying is that we use Nandeck to make our files. Nandeck is a program. If you go over here to nandeck.com, this is where you download it. It says on the right side, the featured downloads. You click this here. It says Nandeck, and then whatever version it currently is, which right now is 127.30. But basically, that opens up Nandeck, which is a standalone program, and there are specific rules for doing that. Let's see if I can flip over to Nandeck to show you how this works. It's really, really simple, but you have to copy the code the first time.
It's simple for coders. Let's put it that way.
Well, I mean, like once you've copied this code, it's really easy. But yeah, you're right. It is.
But yeah, and if there's any kind of change, like it's a little confusing for me. Like I work it out, but it is a little confusing. And like it was hard for me to figure out like where to access the like folder. Like sometimes it just like when you're going back to it, it's a little bit
Why is it
like
not sharing this?
complex.
Oh, it for some reason when I hit share screen, it didn't actually take it. Okay.
I think that's where our like age gap, like it
Oh,
starts, the technology gets a little bit beyond me.
go. Okay, I hate doing this, but I'm gonna share the whole screen. Hopefully, I'll do it. You're gonna have like an infinite recursive loop thingy of like seeing the screen though for a second here. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is Nandeck. The very basic version of it is literally just this. You can use Nandeck to, and let me know if, by the way, my screen stops sharing or something stupid happens because I can't look over there without making the screen stupid. You can use Nandeck to pull information from like an Excel spreadsheet or whatever, put it on the cards, or you can use this to make the cards yourself. It gets really complex. There's a lot you can do with it, but the really basics here are you have this initial stuff here. You can ignore this here. These are just I keep those there because that's how you pull from spreadsheets. But these two slash lines mean like ignore this. But like Angel said, this is basically code. Like it's going to be interpreting this code and making something. So this first thing is saying what kind of line you want to have in your card sheets. Like mark means like you're going to have thin little lines of this color all around the cards. So like around the whole thing and then in between all the cards. You can change this though to other things, and I don't remember what those are. I think if I like, okay, there is a way to do it, but you can get like tooltips, which usually show up. Surprised or not, might be because I'm sharing the screen. You can change this to like little, like just like a plus sign, so people can show where to cut through. It won't be on the cards as much. The rest of this stuff, just ignore entirely. This is just saying what size it is in centimeters, what size the page is in centimeters, and so on. This is the part here that you need to know. So what we have here is we're setting the images, which is the cards, to certain things. This is saying the card number one. You can see this all down here too. Like all the code is shown here. I think if you right click it, you can actually like it'll show you what you're trying to put in and stuff too. But basically here, okay, so this is card number one, and it's going to pull an image called 1.png, which if you notice is what those would download as when we download them from Canva. Yeah. Okay. Then this says, yes, you can't help. Way to go. This here says we're going to put the image, which is 1.png, at 0, 0. So like position X, position Y, 0, 0 is the top left corner. This image is going to take up 100% of the width and the height of the card, which you can see down here too, is saying it's width and height. And then for this example, because we're making horizontal cards, which I need to flip back over there for, these are horizontal cards, not vertical. We need to rotate it 90 degrees. So this is 90 degrees rotation. If you're not making a horizontal card like that, you can just delete that part out. But you'll see here that it does say that too. Like this explains, you can just copy paste this code and then put it in here and then just change these things, which it explains how to do. But then once we have that in here, and I mentioned too in there that like this bottom part here, if you notice it says like 10 is 1, 11 is 1, 12 is 1. You could just go 10 through 18 and then it would make all of those automatically for you. So like if you're doing like, let's say you're doing a big deck that has a single card back, right? You want to double-sided print it. So you'd go like numbers 1 through 9 are like images 1 through 9. And then 10 through 18 are card back. And then 19 through 27 are images 10, 11, 12, 13, so on. And then 28 through 36 would all be the card back again. So you could even write here like 10 through 18, 27 through 36, and then 45 through 54. That would be the card backs for an entire deck of cards that's 54 cards. You wouldn't have to write that again. Then everything else would just be where the cards are. When you're done at that, you're going to hit Validate Deck over here on the left. And then they'll say Deck Valid. Then Build Deck. It'll say Building Deck, and you'll see over here that it's creating the images. If I hit Build Deck again, it's going to do it again. So you can see all the images are getting thrown up there. If I were to go through these arrows, I can see all of them previewed. Like, let's say, for example, I accidentally put 10 in here for number 3, right? So we do Validate and then Build. Now if I go to number 3, oh, what happened? That's weird. That's not how that's supposed to be. So, like, you can see, like, oh, I messed it up. So Validate, Build. Then you're just going to hit PDF and just ignore this whole screen entirely. Like, don't worry about it. Just hit Save. And it'll automatically pop up for you in another window, like in your wherever opens your PDFs normally open, the PDF file, and you can see it. But this is also downloaded to your computer in the same folder that the images are in, and the same folder that the text file for the index in. Those should be in the same place. Otherwise, you have to like really specify where the images are instead of just saying like one.pdf, PNG, or whatever. But that's it there. Nandeck is free to use. I might have forgotten to say, I don't remember now. Canva is free to use too. You can pay for it. That's what we do. We have a pro membership. I think it's like 16 or 17 a month.
Yeah, and we share it with friends too, so that they can have access.
If you remember the old days of Netflix, you can actually share one account with up to 5 other people, either 4 or 5 other people, and like they get to do everything that you get to do on your stuff. So you're not having to like, like, oh well, if you log in as me, you can use it. It's like, no, they have their own logins and everything. Like, they can't get your credit card information or anything, so you're totally safe there. So even if you have like 5 friends that are like going to pay $3 each, like you can have Canva. Each one of you is going to be responsible for actually paying for it. But otherwise, you can still use Canva for free. It's just that when we go over here to like Elements, let's search for like we have YouTube here, right? So let's go to, well, we're on Twitch. Let's just go to Twitch, right? Search for Twitch. We hit see all. Anything with a crown here means that you have to be a pro member to use it. So like if you are not a pro member, you wouldn't be able to put these in your things. But you could put like these things there, or this one, or like this or this. Even this like animated like lightning bolt, or like this frame here, but not like this one or whatever. So and the same thing with the text. If you were to search for like, I like to use black letter font a lot for like fantasy based stuff. Like this one and this one and this one and this one, and like a lot of these are actually free, but this one here you have to be a pro member for. There are some things too, like I think resizing requires pro membership, just stuff like that. So, but this is completely non-affiliate ship. Like we're not getting anything out of you for clicking on any of that. They do have an affiliate program, but you have to like sign up for it, and they do approve you, and you need to have like a big social media reach, and like then
we're not in it for that. We're just trying to.
Right. Yeah. So anytime you see,
share,
unless somebody's like a really big creator that like might have that, anytime you see anybody with like a Canva template or whatever, like they're just doing it because they like to do it, and like, they want to share that. It's not anything to do with like, let's get free months of Canva, like. Yeah, I think that's it. This is the page though. I have photos of a couple of things. Like Angel's saying, if it's like a web thing here, like you won't have these images, but we do here. Just kind of screenshots of what you're going to get. And then, like I said, there's like the free versions here, like the where you'll get emails rather. And that happens regardless. Even if you just download now, it'll automatically happen. So you don't have to like do anything special or hit this claim access or anything. It'll just happen automatically. Do we have any questions or anything for anybody? If not, I know it's only 9:30, but I think I'm good with like cutting on a little early this time. We've been up to like 10:30 on these the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and a lot of people jump off at 10 because they got to go, and it's nice to be able to actually
Yeah,
leave
and my
before everybody
my,
runs away.
my voice is pretty gone actually at the moment. So like,
Yeah, sorry about that. I just you had prepared a lot of this, so I didn't have anything to
what's
say
okay?
because you were talking.
You're all good. I didn't expect you to or anything. It's all good. Like I need to practice that more anyway. Um, but yeah, if you happen to be around watching this, like we will be tomorrow. Hey, you're welcome, Chris. We will be.
Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, thanks for coming by for sure. We'll be on our server tomorrow, um, starting at about 8 o'clock. I don't think we've started late on that before, but it's basically it's. I can share that too. I think safely. Oops, I actually joined it. But in our server at the bottom, there's a Talkie Talk channel, which is like a voice channel, and like I'll share my screen in there, and we'll just like voice chat about like whatever we're making. I did make a poll a while back, um, where
And
I
if
had.
you are intending on sharing your screen, you're not doing that.
Oh no, I'm not sharing anything.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
There's cool. I had run a poll on our server like a few weeks ago, maybe a month or more ago, about like what components to use. And on the other end of the egret chat, the egret chat is like one of the other things that paid like egrets get access to. It's like a little secret area of our server where I mostly just share like what I want to do that day. But once in a while, I'll share like, hey, like we made this thing. We're not going to release it for a couple days. Here's the file or whatever. But I had asked what components I should put together for a Hyper 1 Hour Game Jam. And I had listed dice, decks of cards, coins, meeples or pawns, cubes, pen and paper to write, or pen and paper to draw. And what won were, because I said two of them would win, and we basically like mashed them together. The two that won were the pen and paper to draw and coins. So I'll be, if it's at all possible, making something tomorrow night that involves using coins and where you're drawing with a pen and paper.
Interesting.
I might go for another postcard thing just because I like making the postcards. And if we do like one more postcard thing, we can just make one sheet that has these 3 weeks worth on it. Actually, I think we already can because both weeks had 2 different postcards. So yeah, we already could do that. But I like postcards; they're fun. I like the idea of being able to mail them to people for so cheap. In fact, we're going to be redoing the Patreon hopefully next week. Been meaning to for like a month and a half now, and one of the things I'm considering adding, we'll talk about it, we'll price it out and everything, is like maybe some kind of tier between, which would be kind of complicated though, so that might be annoying. Between the $5 and the $10, where you'd get a postcard, or maybe even just like the $5 people get a postcard a month, and the $10 a month people get the postcard and like our
Yeah, we'll have to see on that.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But I like the idea of mailing postcards. So like, it also would mean though that we'd have to make a postcard every month.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's just not promise like
We have so many like we're gonna do this and this and this a month. So yeah,
no.
So yeah, maybe it'll just be some bonus thing we send to the $5 members sometimes, or something. But I just like the idea of, like it's not even $1 to mail it, and like
Right.
when I priced it out, it was 9 cents a postcard from the Amazon like set. So like it would be like I think it was 56 cents to mail it. So it would be like 60 something cents to mail a postcard to somebody here, at least in the US. I don't know what it's going to cost outside the US. Or honestly, if you shipped it outside the US, it'd probably get destroyed along the way anyway. But like just the idea of mailing something for like 60 cents is cool. So like I think that'd be a fun little thing.
And I know there's some people that do like quarterly mailings, so they still have the digitally things, but then like once every like couple months or something, they do that.
Yeah. We'll definitely have to consider that. I like the idea of doing that like every quarter, right? That sounds fun. And then that would make it like more special every few months. We'd have to make sure that it doesn't line up with like Mini Zine July though, or like anything else. That way, like we're not.
Well, and the thing is we don't have to, do that at that time. It can be something we make when we have time and set it aside.
Yeah, very true too. Like if we're only doing it every quarter, we could totally make that a month or two ahead of time even,
Right.
and then mail it out. It could even just be like, hey, like you get a postcard game. We already have this one. Here you go. Have fun with it. Like so, we'll see. We'll come up with that. We're
excited to redo everything, and we'll work it out.
Yeah, our Patreon currently is Quirky Bird Games, which we were running with Carla. Started doing that like 2 years ago now, and we've went different ways on it. We had different goals for the Patreon. Mine was very driven by like, people are paying us a certain amount of money a month. We owe them things. Like, we can't just like go a month or two without releasing anything.
Yeah.
And she was very like, which is
Wanting
equally
to be relaxed about it.
Yeah, she wanted to be very relaxed about it. And I'm not saying her way is any kind of wrong.
No.
Just that like I was feeling very stressed because we had promised people a certain number of things a month. And a lot of times those number of things a month were like, Angel and I making them. And so like
well, that's fine. She had other things.
Yeah, exactly. So we went separate ways, but we still haven't changed that to Beth and Angel Make Games yet, even though that was in like early June. So we really need to do that, but it's so much work. Oh my goodness, we have like 150 pages on each.
We can get it done. We're good.
We will. It's just a lot. So, but yeah, we're gonna take off. Have a great night. Thanks for coming by, everybody. It was awesome having you join us. And if you're watching this later, I hope that. There was one thing I forgot to say. If you make anything with one of our templates, I have it on the template thing. If you want to thank us or whatever, like, because we're not getting referrals or anything, we're not doing it for that. Just let us know that you made something with it.
Yeah, we'd love to see it.
If you are okay with it, we'll even link to your thing from the itch page, like
the templates. Yeah, we'll just.
Yeah, if you go like on the itch page here, which I'm sharing the screen now, right? Yeah, okay. If we go to like let's say Everyday Enchanter, right? If you go over here, you can embed things. Or if by some chance we get so many that like, we'd have a whole like long thing, we'll just like text link. But like,
yeah, or they can always just leave a link to it down in the comments. That's what a lot of places do.
Comment, just be like, hey, I made this thing with this, and like just let us know, because I mean that's why we made it anyway, so people can use it, and it would make us very happy if people did use it. So like, yeah, just let us know. Like, you can email us, our email's in there. You can message us on Discord, you can comment on here, just whatever.
Way to remember.
Thank you. But now we're good, so have a good night.
Good night.